Welcome back to week 12 of Easy Education. I am Easy to Chris, and I'm hoping to make education easy for you. Now, if you've been paying attention since week 1, you have known that the side story of this is the podcast where Chris grows a beard. Well, today was the day that Chris was over having a beard. So, for context, I've never been a bearded person. I've always been somebody who can grow a mustache and then I can't grow anything else on my face. So I decided this year that I wanted to try and actually grow a beard. And about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago, it finally got to a length where I could kind of rein it in and make it look like an actual beard. And for the last week, every time I go into the mirror, I just keep telling myself, that is not me at all. I feel like I'm wearing a mask of somebody else who looks kind of like me, but I'm just not comfortable with the way that I present myself. So today I decided to do something that I'm a lot more comfortable with, which is just be me, have more mustache, although now I'm going to rock the chops for a little bit of time until I get bored with that. All of that is to say is be comfortable in your own skin. Do what you need to do to be comfortable in your own skin, even if it means you look silly. So week 12, what did I do this week? I didn't focus on anything. It was kind of fantastic, actually. I have not had an opportunity to just kind of lounge and not do a lot. And this week I did literally nothing except Dungeon Crawler Carl. And I mentioned that I was going to start it last week. And today I finished the third book. So I got through all of Dungeon Crawler Carl, got through all of Carl's Doomsday Scenario, and I just finished the Dungeon Anarchist Cookbook. And I still have another 4 books to read because book 8 comes out in May. And this is my second listen of the audiobook. So believe me when I say this series is amazing. It is so fantastic. And considering how all of this has been very high level educational, being able to just go into some absurdity and fun has been a really, really welcome change of pace. Other things I did this week, I built a bookshelf. So now I have, it's the same bookshelf as I have over there, but this one doesn't have comic books on it. So I kind of like the way that this is all set up a little bit different. This can be a little bit more uniform. I also have better lighting in this part of the room. So I think this is going to be the one that I have as my backdrop instead of the clutter of countless graphic novels. And I like that I have a shelf right here that has all of the year's reading material. So I'm pretty excited about having done one thing relatively productive this week. Now, taking from the lessons of quarter 1, and how can I apply those into my off week? Because I don't know how to actually relax and I don't know how to turn off. I did something that has been kind of on a back burner for the barber shop for a little while. And what I mean by that is there's all these projects that I have where I'm like, I need to do this and I need to do that, and I'll get to that eventually. One of the things that I've not really focused on a lot is marketing for myself. And reason being is I'm booked out usually about a month in advance to begin with. I'm relatively busy as a barber, so I don't really feel it's necessary to market a lot for myself. I also really don't like the way that hairstylists do videos online because you kind of break it down into one of a couple of categories. Category 1, I am cutting hair. Here is me making a video of cutting hair, which arguably is boring. It's not really that entertaining to other hairstylists, and it's not really that educational for potential clients, so I don't really like making content in that way. The next category is making educational videos, which is similar. I'm still cutting hair, but now I'm making a video that is specifically for other hairstylists, which again doesn't really help me get clients. The other option is maybe you can make some kind of funny video that if it happens to get to a client they will send it to their barber because it's funny, haha, barber humor. But again, that is not getting me any clients. All of these are really just built to make it so that way I can find other people in the hair industry to follow me. And the idea is if we all follow one another, then when a client comes across my social media page and they see that I have 10,000, 15,000 followers, oh, he must be successful. So that's great. I'm going to go check out this relatively popular online stylist when in reality they're just making content. So typically what I do for making any kind of barbershop related content is I call it my last rant of the day. And if I have a packed day, usually the first client of the day is the one who dictates one of the conversations that's going to happen throughout the entire shift. It might be about a TV show that's going on. It might be about a movie. It might be about something political that's going on in the world. Who knows? But usually I'll talk to that first person, and then portions of that conversation will bleed into the conversation with my second client, and then my third client, and then my fourth client, and then my fifth client. And one of the things that I really love about this aspect of being a barber is you wind up having the same conversations over and over and over, but you get a lot of other people's perspectives, which is one of the reasons why I talk about all the things you're not supposed to talk about in a shop. I talk about religion, I talk about politics, I talk about how people actually feel about things, because it helps get me grounded to how it is that I'm actually feeling about those things as well. So at the end of my day, after I've had, a handful of people to bounce my ideas off of and get their ideas, I have a more secure understanding of how it is that I actually feel on any topic. So what I'll do is I'll set my little tripod up, I'll have my phone pointed at me in front of an empty barber shop. There's no other barbers, there's no clients in the shop, and I have my rant. And it's just about the thing that I was talking about that day, but it's not worrying about me bouncing the idea off of somebody else. It's just simply how I feel about it. And the way that I look at this as far as a marketing perspective goes is, look, this is my barbershop. I own this barbershop. Clearly, I'm successful enough to own a barbershop that employs other barbers that you can see that I'm in here. But more importantly, if you're coming to me for a haircut, you can find me on Yelp and Google. You'll see my reviews are solid. I want you to understand what kind of conversations you can have with me. And me being able to talk exactly how it is that I'm going to talk with my clients directly to the audience, I feel like that is a better way of selling my time to the people that are potentially following me. And that's been fairly successful for me. It's a methodology that other barbers don't use. They may do some trend videos, they may have a little bit of interaction, but they're not really selling themselves as this is the individual that you're getting time with on top of a quality service. So, having said all that, I haven't done a commercial for my barbershop in a really long time. And the reality is I need to do that. At some point, I need to have something out there that says, hey, this is who we are. This is what it is that we do. Here are the barbers that work here. Here's what you can kind of expect out of this. And be able to have more of a traditional commercial instead of a social media clip or reel or viral-ish video. And these last 3 months of making these videos have made me significantly more comfortable with using this equipment as the tool that it's supposed to be. Being able to write essays has made me a lot more comfortable with understanding how narrative-driven stories need to actually be developed and how to be able to combine those two things together. And having this week to just really think about things, I realized there's no reason that I should keep putting this on the back burner. So I also began filming the commercial for my shop. I even pulled my drone out, which I haven't had that up in the sky in over a year. So it was kind of nice just reminding myself, oh yeah, this is all fun. I enjoy doing this. You know, I always put such a huge expectation on it needs to be professional, it needs to be clean, it needs to be XYZ, that the fun that I was having just turned into work, or it turned into obligation, or it turned to a mountain out of the molehill that it once was. And just being able to realize, no, I'm having fun with this. I'm excited to see how this is going to come out, because honestly, I really do think that the last 3 months of doing this has helped remind me the reason I'm doing this is because I'll find success in something that I'm already having fun with. And maybe that'll be more pursuits in the future, is making more commercial content and eventually being able to refine that a little bit. Now, speaking of refining, going into Q2, the one time this week that I actually did think about, you know, this whole educational track was I had to order my new books for the required reading for the next quarter. So over the next few, oh, that's just nice. I can just grab it. It's right there. Over the next couple of weeks for Q2, the focus is going to be on framing the narrative, as well as more further development of my voice. In that, we've got Nassim Nicholas Taleb, Skin in the Game. This is going to be one of the books that I'll be going through. Donella H. Meadows, Thinking in Systems. Yeah. And then the one that has me the most intimidated is James C. Scott's Seeing Like a State. And is little tiny letters. This is a very thick book. And I could not find an audiobook where the narrator doesn't speak like this and is only monotone for the entire duration of the entire audiobook. It is boring and it is terrible to listen to. However, it is incredibly informative. So this one, I'm a little bit intimidated by, not gonna lie. Now, I've got my stack for the year. I'm kind of excited. Q2 is starting next week. I am going to be taking my break from Dungeon Crawler Carl. Again, if you guys haven't started reading or listening to Dungeon Crawler Carl, I urge you, embrace absurdity. Get through that first book, because by the time that you get to the 5th book, oh, it's so good. It's so good. And I will definitely be talking more about Dungeon Crawler Carl probably in 6 weeks when I have my next break. In the meantime, I appreciate that you guys have been hanging out with me through all of Q1 as we're going into Q2. As always, if you guys want to continue supporting this, I really do appreciate it. All you need to do is hit like, subscribe. You can find me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, or YouTube. All of the written content that I make is available on my Substack, which is Easy to Chris, or you can find both the written content as well as the videos that I make here on my website, easytochris.com. So until next week when we start our next quarter, be well, guys.